Menopausal and perimenopausal women, listen up. It's time to take control of your health and comfort, and Winona is here to help. Winona is a telemedicine company for menopause care who believes that your symptoms are real, important, and deserve to be taken seriously. And for many women, this starts with hormone replacement therapy. Winona's HRT is made with plant-based, bioidentical hormones rather than synthetic ones, so it better aligns with your body to offer relief from hot flashes, weight gain, and other uncomfortable symptoms. 80% of women who use Winona find relief within just 90 days. So, what are you waiting for? Get started today. Visit buywinona.com today to start your free visit. With free shipping and the ability to pause or cancel at any time, your path to wellness has zero obligations. Use code SPRING24 at buywinona.com for 25% off your first treatment plan. That's BYWINONA.com for 25% off. Winona. Menopause care made easy. Summer is the season of hot temperatures, outdoor adventures, and refreshing water activities. Summer is also the season of rough on your feet, causing dry, cracked heels and toes. Introducing Babyfoot, the original exfoliation foot peel that contains 16 natural extracts formulated to remove dead skin cells in 3 easy steps. Apply the booties, relax for an hour, then wash your feet. In 14 days, you've got baby smooth skin and your feet have never been softer. Letting dead skin cells build up over time is hazardous to your foot health. Our professional-grade DIY products, like our original exfoliation foot peel, our men's foot peel, or our moisturizing mask, are some of the best foot care products on the market, created with your foot health in mind. Pamper yourself with a spa day from the comfort and convenience of your own home with Babyfoot. If you want a chemical-free, easy-to-use exfoliating process from the company that created the original foot peel, it's time to treat yourself to Babyfoot. Go to babyfoot.com and use the code SUMMERFEET24 and get 20% off your first order with Babyfoot. That's babyfoot.com and use the code SUMMERFEET24.
Hello and welcome to Too Stupid to Live, a podcast that reviews romance novels $5 and under. I'm your host, Becky Feldman, and once upon a time, this podcast had to take a break because its host, me, Becky Feldman, became a damsel in distress with COVID. But I'm better now. It's gone. It's out of my system. I know I may still sound a little nasal, but listen to the other episodes of this podcast. I always sound like this. But I am so happy to be back with a banger of a book and a banger of a guest. Today, we are delving into what is slowly becoming my new favorite subgenre of romance. And honestly, like a lot of other people's favorite subgenres of romance, they are romances where one of the protagonists isn't really a human, but is still, like, humanoid. I'm talking like monster romance or alien romance. So today, we are reviewing The Dragon's Bride by Katee Robert, which is currently $4.99. This episode is brought to you by Kensington Publishing with the new romantic suspense series, Blood Ties, The Logans, by USA Today bestselling author Kat Martin. The first 2 books are The Last Goodnight and The Last Mile, and they are currently out now. If you're a regular listener, you know that romantic suspense is one of my favorite subgenres, and I love the way that Kat Martin writes. At chapter 1, you just jump right in and the story gets going. Her books have the perfect balance of a mystery thriller plotline and then the, sizzling sexy times romance plotline. So if you're a fan of J.D. Robb or Heather Graham and love action franchises like Indiana Jones and Tomb Raider, definitely pick up The Last Goodnight and The Last Mile. You can find more information on the episode page at TSTLpodcast.com. So today's guest is a fellow romance podcaster, Bree Hill. She is one of the hosts of one of my favorite romance podcasts, the Categorically Romance Podcast. She is so intelligent and delightful and charming, so obviously you're going to enjoy her opinions about having sex with a dragon monster man, among other things. So please enjoy this review of The Dragon's Bride. Bree Hill, welcome to Too Stupid to Live. I am so excited you're here. The category romance lady. That's what I call you.
Thank you for having me. I am this is so weird to say, but I'm obsessed with you and your podcast. So I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited that you're here too. I love your I was listening to your latest episode this morning and you talk so thoughtfully with authors and your co-hosts, and like it's so pleasant to listen to,
Thank
like
you.
yeah. So can you tell me, like, first of all, you host Categorically Romance. Like, what is category romance for people who may not have like normally used that term?
Mm-hmm. The easiest way to define it is, if you live in the States, Harlequin; if you live overseas, Mills and Boon.
Okay.
I think through doing the podcast, we have learned that they are not the only ones that do category romance. There's publishers like Thule and Entangled, but it's essentially, I mean, when you think of Harlequin and you go to like the grocery store and you see them every month, you're getting new books in a different line or a different series or a different imprint. They're so, those three words are so controversial, but essentially, like, they're genius when it comes to marketing. If you like romantic suspense, the romantic suspense books have so many books that come out. If you like more suspense than romance, but still want the romance there, the intrigue has so many books that come out. If you enjoy medicals, they have those. So essentially every month, depending on what you like, you can get books that feature that. And I just think, I mean, we just love it so much, and we just have so much fun talking about it. So yeah, I feel like that didn't describe it at all, but if you live in the United States or North America, I'm sure you've seen a Harlequin. That is category romance.
Right. So like, I guess it's kind of like, is it dependent on the publisher then, or is it like the different imprints within the publisher?
Well, I mean, I think Harlequin is like the easiest example. When you think of like Thule and Entangled, they have imprints. Like if you look at Thule, they have like the American Heart.
Yeah.
Those are digital first. So we're not going to see those at the store. And they don't have, Harlequin has some signatures. Like if you look at the spine of one, it'll tell you the month and the year, and they'll tell you the number of that book falls into that specific series. Like it may be Desire book 4,570, which realistically doesn't matter, but if you're a collector, that's a big deal for you.
Absolutely.
When it comes to like Thule and Entangled, they don't do all that because they don't have to. It's digital first. Like their readers are just one clicking away, and it doesn't matter to them. So I think that's where the differences really kind of come into play. It's just like those little specifics. But yeah, I think that the definition for a while was very specific, but it's really cool to see how that's kind of changing. And it's not like a box,
Yeah. Cause I feel like in the past, it used to be like, almost like, not magazines, but remember when you used to subscribe to those like CDs, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And it was like, and now it's like the CDs via your phone now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
So tell me how you got into reading romance.
Oh my gosh. So it's so weird because I feel like I didn't have that experience of like, oh, I was reading in the middle school. Like, no, I was reading like R.L. Stein, The Goosebumps for the longest, until I read Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. And I was like, okay, I think it's time to grow up, But I do think I read some romance like throughout my life. I read, there's an author, Susanna Kearsley, that I discovered when I was reading historical fiction a lot. Now that I think about it, she was actually writing romance. There was always a happily ever after, but I was just so fixated on the time travel and historical parts of it. But it was really, I was about to turn 30 and I was watching Hallmark because I love Hallmark Christmas movies. And it was like the 1st of November. So like they literally just started the Christmas movies. And I remember thinking, you watch these every year and you've never read an actual romance novel. And I had been watching romance on BookTube for like 2 years at this point. I was obsessed, not knowing that like they were talking about indie romances. I couldn't really find any of the books they were talking about at the bookstore. I had no idea. So I just kept watching, and I had just gotten a library card and discovered Overdrive. And so I Googled like romance author that writes Christmas romances. And of course, like the queen of Christmas romance of Once Upon a Time, Debbie Maycomber, pops up. So I'm like, who's this Debbie Maycomber lady? And literally like the Hallmark movie I was watching was an adaptation of hers. So I get on Overdrive and I'm like, Debbie Maycomber. And I was like, okay, this woman must be a big deal because like everything is checked out. I managed to check out like 2 books, and I pre-ordered. She had a book, of course, coming out in like 2 weeks. So I pre-ordered that, and the rest is history. It really started with Christmas and Debbie Maycomber, and I'm very grateful. I mean, it would have been cool to read it as like a middle schooler, but I think it's something special to like come to it later in life too. So
yeah. Cause I feel like, when you ask someone, in my experience, when you ask someone, how did you get into romance? It's always like, it feels like, oh, I was in middle school, I found my mom's books or I found my grandma's books, and then like when you're like, well, when I like from like if you're older than 18, and that's when you found romance, like you feel a little bit like of an outlier a bit.
yes. Like I feel like I hate to be that person, but like I used to get books recommended to me and they were like new adult. And I was like, I don't want to read this. Like I was almost 30. I feel like there's this whole, like, I hate to say subgenre, but like part of romance that I missed. And I'm like, unfortunately, guys, I don't really have any interest in reading these. Like I found romance when I was about to turn 30. I feel like my new adult time was over, but yeah, I always loved the, like, I was in middle school and I found my mom's Danielle Steele's. Like, that's so fun to hear. I'm like, what was I doing at that time? But
yeah. I mean, I was probably reading like A Wrinkle in Time. I mean, I know I had to read that for class, but like I loved that kind of book where it was like,
yeah.
little science fiction-y kind of stuff.
Yeah. Especially because like as a kid in the 90s, I feel like there were so many books geared towards my age.
Yeah.
That I didn't need to steal anybody's books. We had so many cool books that were like geared towards us. So
yeah, like I remember like, and again, we read this for school, which is like kind of exciting, but like I Know What You Did Last Summer. And like, and then I read like more of that authors like outside of school, but like there were a lot of great books that were just like these fun, like, remember like Picture on the Milk Carton? That's not the title at all.
What is it? The face on the milk carton? I think
that's the one. Yeah. Where the girl sees.
I remember that being like a Lifetime movie or something.
I remember the movie. I watched the movie. I'm like, oh, thank God they're doing an adaptation of it. Oh man.
Yeah, we had a lot of horror during that time. It was a lot of.
It was like a lot of like people our age, protagonists our age, getting into these like insanely serious things of like murder, finding a baby on the porch, like realizing you've been kidnapped, like not like very benign.
But it was a great time. I don't know. I like seeing YA now, which we didn't call it YA back then, is like it's all like fantasy and fun, and I think just fantastic. But I'm like, man, I don't really think that we had like books for us as teens, but like that sweet spot before you're like an actual teenager. I feel like there were just books galore for us.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. There's like so many fun adventures.
Yeah,
totally. So what kind of books right now do you grab, like in your free time? Like what kind of subgenres are you gravitating towards?
Oh my gosh. Well, what I want to be gravitating towards is paranormal, but I'm doing a lot of reading. Like Erin and I really try to read for the podcast before we talk with people. And July is just one of those months where we're like, oh crap, we have a lot of interviews coming up.
Yeah.
I mostly am a contemporary reader. I think everything paranormal that I'm excited. I feel like I save paranormal for like, oh, I feel like I'm in a reading slump, or like I really want to be cozy. Like, because when I read a good paranormal, like I'm obsessed. I will reread chapters. I don't want to misunderstand anything. I want to know all the details. So I think that's my favorite. But yeah, paranormal and contemporary. And I know you love romantic suspense. I want to love romantic suspense, Becky, but I am my anxiety can't handle too much of it.
Get it. Like there are some things that like I can't handle. Like, I mean, mafia romance, I'm reading it and fascinated by it. But again, I have anxiety about it, and like, there's just some of those genres where you're like, this is making me feel feelings that I feel that I'm reading romance to get away from. So I am going to avoid. I get it 100%.
Yeah. But it's so, when you read a good one, like I read, Harlequin Intrigue. So in the intrigue line, it's more, the suspense is like 70% and the romance is like 30%, but it's still there. And it's called Shielding Her Son by Katee Richards. It's her newest one. And I could see, finally, I had that clarity of like the danger is really bringing these two together. And it was so good. So I was like, okay, this is satisfying. I get why people love this so much.
Totally. Like, and I feel like, I mean, I guess this kind of segues into this book where like with suspense or even paranormal, like I'm kind of like the world, the mystery, whatever's going on takes such a backseat to the love story. Yeah. It's like the most insane things could be happening. And I'm like, I don't really care. I want to see these two people get together.
So I feel like I have that question of like, okay, we're talking about the Dragon's Bride. Is it paranormal or is it not?
It's such a good question. And I would love to have this conversation with you because I have so many things to say about this. Well, let me read a quick synopsis of it and then we can just like get into it and figure out. And I honestly, I feel this way like with all Katee Robert books of like, you read, like, you're like, what? I loved this book, but what is going on here?
Yes.
Okay, so the two of us read The Dragon's Bride, which is book 1 in the Deal with a Demon series. It is currently $4.99. Okay.
Right on the money for the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And worth it. Worth every $4.99. Okay. What has 2 dicks, 1 tail, and scales all over? No, it's not the villain of this fairy tale. It's the dashing hero himself. Once upon a time, Briar Rose makes a deal with a demon to end the life of her abusive husband. In return, she agrees to be auctioned off for 7 years to marry a dragon humanoid king named Soul. At first, she thinks she's traded a life with a figurative monster for a literal monster. But after being cherished, doted on, and more importantly, listened to, she learns that being a monster has nothing to do with the claws or teeth, but the soul that exists underneath.
Yes. I love that reading. Okay.
Thank you so much. Literally 5 minutes before.
You need to be hired to narrate the audiobook. Just saying.
Oh, thank you so much. That means so much to me. Okay. So you were like, is this a paranormal romance? And it's interesting because I feel like there's like different types of, right now, it feels like there's like fantasy with these demon characters, but then there's paranormal with like werewolves and vampires and all that stuff. There's a difference, but it's like, are they the same? I don't know.
Yeah. I was watching a live show and I mentioned that I was reading this book and they were talking about subgenres. And I was like, what would you consider this? And one of the girls was like, it's a monster romance. And I'm like, so is monster a totally different subgenre now? Mm-hmm. Like I would think dragons and creatures, and I mean, I don't want to put everybody in the same box, but I would think they would fall under paranormal. I don't know. It feels very separate.
Yes. I agree with you. Cause it's like, I wonder if it's like, like this type of romance, like whether it's like monster romance or alien romance, it feels like it's almost falls under the subgenre of like non-human lover romance. Yeah. Like that needs its own term where it's like,
yeah,
I don't know what it is.
I guess for me, it's like, what are these books doing differently than what we know of as what used to be paranormal? What are they doing different?
I mean, I guess maybe it's the sex thing, like, because with like vampires and werewolves, you like vampires, no offense to them, you're pretty much human, whatever. Werewolves, you're having sex with them when you're human. It is very like human based sex versus this where it's like you have a different body, you have a tail, you have 2 dicks, like just spoiled the headline there. You know, and it's like you're like, this is my thing, like I like this.
Yeah.
And so many people do. Like this isn't like, you know, it's a thing.
I mean, obviously I love that we're getting it now, but like if it would have been a thing back when paranormal was going on, would it have not fit into it? I feel like it would have. I feel like I have more questions than answers.
Absolutely. But my question for you is, you chose this book. What was it about this book, aside from like wanting to go into a paranormal route? Like, was there something specifically about this book that you were like, this is the one I want to read?
Absolutely. I have been putting it off for forever.
Sure.
So, I mean, I was torn, and I think I messaged you and I was like, I kind of want to read a paranormal. And you're like, well, let's go with a paranormal or something, I don't even remember. Here I am calling it a paranormal, and that may not be what it was. But I remember seeing the cover back in the fall, like being announced. And I was like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with this cover. And then like a week after it came out, because I had kind of forgotten about it, I like did not pre-order it. I'm sorry, listeners. I try to pre-order, but I tend to forget. My pre-order track record is not the best.
Same.
Books, like you pre-order books and they're supposed to like show up at your house like the day of, and mine show up like 2 weeks later. And I'm like, I should have just ordered the book like normal. But anyway, so I saw a friend post that like it's out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to have it. So I get the book, and I think that I have been waiting for the right opportunity to read it. Like I got it, but I wasn't necessarily, I knew that once I get into monster romance, if I read something good, I'm going to like just recklessly fall head over heels. And I was like, I have to read this with Becky. She's giving me this opportunity to read something with her. Let's, break my monster romance cherry together.
Absolutely. So you mentioned the cover, and that is something that I think we should talk about, because there is something so clever about it.
I know.
For me, it kind of looks like your classic Fabio-esque kind of, he's clutching her, she's wearing the dress that's kind of draping off her shoulders, except the one exception, it's not like Fabio, it is a full-on dragon man.
It's a dragon.
And I thought there was something very tongue-in-cheek about it.
It just feels like very like old school. I don't even know like what era I'm feeling. I think it's like hands down one of the best covers I've seen in a long time. And then like the chain, like he has like, there's never like an actual chain physically in the book, but there is a contract. Like they are like bound together. So I think it's, like you said, very, very clever.
Yeah. And it's funny because like going back to like talking about like what subgenre is this, I feel like I've read a few books where not just this series, but like where a person, a woman typically, is making a deal with a demon, and it's like almost like a bargainer genre, you know what I mean? Like I wonder if that's a subgenre too, of like it's deal making 101. It's deal making romance.
They just know that we need an escape. And the only way we're actually going to, like, as women in America, like actually go through with an escape from our everyday lives, we would have to make a deal with like a demon.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like what's interesting about this is that like, the real monsters in this book are, human men in the patriarchy in this society. And it's like, listen, dudes, women want real monsters like over you. Like, what does that say about you?
Exactly.
So yeah, I guess, as I said, like, I feel like the headline of this book, and this was like these were like, when I was reading the reviews, the first sentence of every review, this humanoid dragon man has 2 penises. Like how can we not discuss this?
I am just so excited to say that I have finally read a book where the hero has more than 1 penis.
Same, this was my first one too.
Okay. I'm so glad we got to do this together.
Me too. Oh my God. Yeah.
But I think one thing that's fascinating about the book is it is kind of a slow burn.
It
takes a while for anything physical to happen, which is totally understandable.
I agree. Yeah, it's a little overwhelming.
I mean, the book's 180 pages, so it's not long, but I was thinking with Briar's backstory coming from an abusive relationship, which at first I was like, oh man, like make it a little harder, make her to some girl that like is in love with life and, living the dream. But then the more that I thought about it, I was like, it makes sense. It makes total sense for her to be the heroine of this book, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cause like, I feel like with something like this where the, you are like, okay, how is this going to, more in more ways than one, how is this going to work out? She is moving to a different realm. She's leaving her whole life behind. And it's like the stakes for her are like low in a very comforting way, because it's like, yeah, I guess she should stay. Like, I guess it would be smart to stay in the real world, but she really has nothing going on. And she's finding her voice and her strength in this world. So, and I guess that happens, like we all know that's like what's going to happen. So there's something very easy about it where you kind of like know,
Yeah.
the ending of like, she just has to get past herself, not necessarily like having to call her mom and be like, I'm going to be a dragon wife now.
I saw one review that was like, it's a little slow in the beginning, but it eventually becomes like really cozy and hot. And I was like, that is like the perfect way to describe this book. It does become pretty cozy.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, he becomes Soul, for lack of better words, like just becomes this cinnamon roll teddy bear of a hero.
Gentle. He is so gentle and patient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think this was kind of gets to like the parts of the book that like I really found mind blowing, is that you have Soul and he questions human nature quite a bit. And he makes her question human nature of like, things like, he notices that she answers a question with another question. And isn't that a very human thing of us evading the trying to have to go to something uncomfortable? And it's like, that's way bigger than the story in this book. That's like questioning us and like how we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Even her, like when the whole situation first happens, she finds out, she's just like, I'm marrying a dragon, apparently.
Very cool with it.
And I just thought that the way that it was handled through Soul's perspective and even a little bit of like Azazel's, it's just, we're the ones that have so many questions, but realistically, and I think the way the book kind of sets it up is like, once upon a time, things weren't so different. We weren't so far apart from one another, but I think it just, humans like to think that we're it and that's it. And there's nothing else out there. And you kind of see that through Briar. Like she's been through hell. She literally gets rescued by a monster. And she's still like, I can't believe I'm getting rescued by a monster.
Yeah. It just like shows that there's so many things, like, it's like almost symbolic of like, there's so many things that we need to get past internally in order to like flourish externally, like no matter, with our job or, our role in this world, who we love, all this stuff.
Yeah. I thought that her abuse and the way that she handles it, and we see how she reacts to certain things and questions certain things and is hesitant. I thought once I kind of got over like, oh man, why'd she have to be, I was like, okay, she did it really, really well. I think
I agree. I absolutely agree. I felt like, I have read books, that where, domestic abuse is part of a character's backstory. And I honestly like felt this one to be particularly the most empowering kind of emotional journey for a character like that, of just like really understanding like what it means to find your strength and find your voice, and that tough, difficult journey it takes.
Yeah. I think the moment that it hit me the most was when there's these scenes where like she's kind of bored and it's like she's come from this relationship where she wasn't expected. It was not allowed for you to just be sitting around doing nothing. And so Soul's like, you don't know how to just relax for leisure. And I'm like, none of us do, Soul. No, we don't.
And again, like, I feel like that has such larger implications, because like, I feel guilty when I'm relaxing, like literally not doing anything to either like further my career or help out with this or that, and yeah, I think a lot of humans in this society are 100% like that. And I felt this like pain within myself when he said that. He was talking to me, I guess.
He was talking to us.
Yeah.
He's like, chill out. It's fine.
Yeah. And he's like, not wrong. Like the way he just views things so like poignantly. And I think another part where that, again, it was a heavy topic, but it was also very hot on his end as a character of like, he's like, I, for the life of me, could not begin to understand the torment that you've been through. But I also am here for you and I understand it's going to take you a while to get over it. Yes. How is that not more relatable than
that is what we need in life? Oh my gosh. I'm like, what is the thing he said about delights? Oh my God, I can't find it. He said there, I feel like all of my favorite quotes in this book were freaking soul quotes.
Oh, but yeah.
Okay, he says, I'm sure your world has its dangers, but so far I've only found delight. Well, she says, I'm sure your world has its dangers, but so far I've only found delights. It does have its dangers, yes. He reclaims my hand and we resume walking down the rock path, but I intend to keep you surrounded by delights. What soul? What?
I know. And the thing is that it's so funny because what you pointed out is like, you know how when you read Kindle, like there's the most highlighted, that is one of the lines of like, yeah. I mean, how amazing is that? And it's like, can you imagine like people who don't really read these books? You're hearing someone say that, and it's a dragon monster man.
It's a dragon monster man. Okay, so the whole science fantasy.
Sure. Yeah, there's more science. Yeah.
So okay, I get a little bit confused with the technicalities, but like, okay, so Briar and these other women are brought into this realm. I don't know their specifics, but for her, he basically needs to get her pregnant.
Yes. Yeah. In order to keep his society moving on, or like not moving on, but
something like, with the magic, like the magic is stronger.
If it's a half human.
If it's a half human. Yeah.
Which sure. Yeah.
I liked it.
Great stakes. Great.
But I liked, so okay. Briar, obviously coming from this previous situation, is like, it's not that she's against having a kid, but she is there on a contract for 7 years. And her thing is, I'm not going to have a kid and then leave it. And I really, again, soul in his patience, he makes a phone call. Yeah. Not really, like writes a letter.
Yeah. The letter is like a phone in this. Like when you write a letter, it's like texting.
Yeah, but he sends a text in this dragon realm and basically gets her like some birth control so that it doesn't happen. And they haven't even had sex when that happens.
You know what's really nice about that is that like they have a lot of conversations about sex before they actually have sex. And like, one, I guess that is a healthy thing in any relationship, but it also helped me as a reader. So it wasn't just like, bam, bam, here we go. Like,
I wasn't ready either. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I was like, I don't know how this is going to go.
And so what's very interesting about this is that like they make this decision together. He, respects her choices. She ends up respecting his choices, because what ends up happening is that they both develop a breeding fetish, even though in actuality, they do not want to breed at this moment. And I thought, what an interesting twist.
Yeah. And I loved it. Like when it happens, it's like, she can't hold out anymore. Like, no, okay, I'm ready to do this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm ready too. Let's do this.
Yeah. And I mean, once it gets started, it gets started, and the language that they say towards each other, it was jaw-dropping. I don't want to say horrifying, but there was something like very shocking about it to me, of like, she's so gentle. She's so sweet. They both have agreed childbearing is off the table, but then he's like, I'm going to fuck you with, my seed is going inside of you right now, blah, blah, blah. And she's fine because she has the birth control pendant. But the way it was so, for lack of better words, animalistic,
And she really comes out of her shell, I feel like, through them having sex. I mean, it was obviously I like to see, okay, how is this going to change the dynamic of their relationship? And I just felt like she gained a lot of confidence through that, which I thought was really awesome to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I feel like, like this is a journey about a woman trying to obtain her power. And I think like there are a lot of stories that we see about that, not even in romance, where it's like a work thing or, an eat, pray, love situation. This was full on. The way to her empowerment was having sex with a guy with 2 dicks who's really into a breeding fetish. And that's how she found her power. And I'm like, yeah, girl.
I mean, she didn't need to slay the dragon. She just had to sleep with him.
That's a good tagline. She doesn't need to slay him. She needs to fuck him.
And like he was like hopelessly in love with her. So,
Yeah. He is devoted to her just right away. And like just such a great job on Katee's part of like just making him so appealing just right away. He could have been a full-on dragon breathing fire, like turning people into stone, really scary. And I would have been like, I want him to be my husband for the rest of my life.
Even like, I mean, obviously there are some suspect people. Like, I mean, I was like, what is this Ramanu character going to do? But Azazel is like, basically when he thinks that Soul has broken the contract, which is, if she says she doesn't want to have a kid, you don't impregnate her. And when he thinks that he intentionally broke the pendant on purpose without her consent and impregnated her on purpose, he's like, you're done. She's going back to the human. And I was just like, man, I love the fact that they have so much respect for these human women that they've bought in. Like, it's not like this icky, cringy situation. He had so much respect and he was like, you're done. Like, nope, she's gone. I'm taking her back. And then Briar's like, hold up, take me back to my husband. And it's like, oh God, she loves him.
Yeah. It was such like an interesting thing because it like, I guess maybe that's something that is mentioned in the beginning is that like all of the ladies who make this deal with Azazel, who's like the bargainer, he ensures that they are in this because they want to be in this. They are not getting into anything that's non-consensual. The monsters that he bargains to, like, he really is as like, he is a, like, there's something slimy about him, but he is very protective of these women. Yeah. And it's like, kind of gets you into this thing of like, what is a fetish versus reality? Like, when does it cross the line? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. What did you think of the chase?
That was the most like feral. Wait, do you want to describe like what it is first? So people are like,
how do you describe? Okay. So they have a conversation. They have a conversation at one point where she's like, basically, if I run, I want you to chase me. And you don't really know what that means at first, like, are you going to try to run away? Where are you going to go? You're in a whole other realm. Like, you don't really know. Yeah. But then they go swimming. They go swimming and she just this is like after they've been having sex, feelings are high, like we're loving it. And she just has this instinct of like, she looks at him and she's like, Soul, what did you say the first day that we met? And he's like, you have to remind me. And she's like, I said, what would you do? What would you do if I ran? And he's like, I'd chase you. And she's like, I want you to chase me. And she takes off running. And it's like prey being hunted by the predator. And it's hot. Like, what did you think?
I loved it. I was like, that's where this needs, because like I feel like that's where this needs to heighten to, of like their lust for each other is very feral. And it's like, of course it's going to be like a predator prey situation. And the way that like maybe in real nature is like, okay, when a predator is hunting the prey is done for. The prey is not powerful, but in this situation, she's the one in power. And that was so cool.
Yeah. She initiated the damn chase.
Exactly. Yeah. She was the one who was like calling the shots here. And I mean, the entire time, like even once he catches her and rips off her pendant and, is saying all of the, like the way they talk to each other is he's very territorial. She's the one pulling the strings in a way.
Yeah. It makes you mentioned like fantasies earlier, and it's like that fantasy that I think we as women sometimes have to be real with ourselves as having, of like being pursued, of being chased by this monster. I don't know. I was like, oh man, I'm kind of into this. Like,
yeah, 100%. Yeah. And like, it really like, I feel like maybe to an outside reader who's like never read this, they, would be shocked and horrified, but like really understanding, like, there's this really great thing about having the knowledge between knowing your fantasy and knowing, what you stand for in real life. And just knowing that. And it's like, and especially with a book like this, where you see her learn that,
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I don't know. I feel like this book just says, okay, we've had enough of the Prince Charming that we've all come to know. Like, he's been fine for however long, but he's gotten kind of boring and he's like fucking things up. Let's give the actual monster a chance. Yeah. And then the monster comes in and like, they're so gentle and patient and loving. And it's like, this is where we are in 2022.
Exactly. Because it is just like, well, we're all trying to define, like, in this world, like, what does a monster actually mean? And like, it's so interesting because I feel like it also kind of falls into the realm of alien romance as well, which I guess like are aliens monsters? Who knows? But like, I keep thinking about this. One time I did a storytelling show and I told a story about loving romance and how I was into Ice Planet Barbarians and reading Ruby Dixon. And when I got off the stage, numerous women came up to me, pulled out their Kindle app and just scrolled through all of the alien books that they were reading.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
It was amazing. And I think this is the same thing, just like monsters and aliens and just anything not human is now, it says something about society.
Yeah. And there's something really, it's easy to escape into. I think when the authors create their own kind of like mythology and lore, I think those details, like there was something with Briar trying to like learn the language and but there's still like a library, right? Like we can still envision what this library that she's walking into is. And yeah, I think whatever it is, whether it's paranormal, whether it's a subgenre all of its own, I feel like it's doing something really special. And I was thinking of the book the other day. I watched a group of Harlequin Presents authors. Well, they write, all the authors write like royalty romance. And I was thinking like in Harlequin Presents specifically, like that's a thing, like that will never end. People will always love that. But knowing that these like monster romances are so popular, it just has me really thinking about how the romance hero is changing. Like the face of the romance hero is changing. I mean, I think for cowboy romance lovers, they're never going to go anywhere. I love cowboy romances as well. But yeah, like it's undeniable that like these authors are onto something with this.
They're tapping into something. Absolutely. Like yesterday when I was finishing this book at my sister-in-law's house and I was like, listen, I'm reading a book about, like, all day. I was like, I'm reading a book about a monster with two dicks. And she's like, nice. And then, like later on, I get to the part where there is a line where he says like, again, they're in the midst of this hot, heated moment. And he's like, if you touch anyone else, I'll rip their throats out and then fuck you in their blood. And I was like,
yes, he does.
He does. He says that. And then I'm like, I say that to my sister-in-law and she's like, that's so hot, and like, it just, people love it.
I mean, what girl doesn't want to be desired, and what girl doesn't want to, oh my gosh, somebody put on Twitter, like, it's something like in the romance novels when we see that's my girl, like everybody loves that. And I'm like, oh, that's one of those, that's my girl. But even Briar, she's honest with him. She's like, I don't want to see you with anybody else. She doesn't say it like as hardcore as he does, but she essentially says the same thing. Like, while I'm here, it's just you and me. Like, I don't want to see you with anyone else. And I was like, I can respect that. I love that.
I think that jealousy was very interestingly brought up in this book.
Yeah.
Like where there's I guess it's called a mating frenzy. And so when they first get married, because of his like animalistic instinctual thing, when they first have sex, like it's this like, you know, like what's the word? Natural, like a natural thing, like very like, you know, he's like, I can't have anyone else near you. I will get jealous. So usually what I do is like the two of us are just going to hang out in our castle and I'm going to fuck you constantly. But then after that, I'll never be jealous of anyone ever again.
Yeah, because she's like, am I stuck in here? Like, can I go in the hallway? And he's like, no. She's like, where is everybody? And I think there are like some elders that have stuck around because, you know, they've been around long enough to know. And he's like, oh, yeah, everybody's gone because it's this time period. And like, I don't need you around anybody. And I was like, okay, I can dig it, soul. I can dig it.
Yeah, it's like, and it's definitely not like anything possessive or, you know, like bad on his part. This is pure, like being in heat, natural. Yes. This is the nature of this world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. What did you think of? There was like one side character that I didn't really understand, and that was Aldous.
Yeah,
like his sister.
I thought it was his sister, okay. And she's allowed in the castle during, you know, mating frenzy because obviously it's his sister, and it seems like he's like the leader of his realm, and it seems like she does a lot of like she helps him.
Yeah, rule. She's like the admin person.
Yeah, she's the administrative assistant.
Yeah,
she does the paperwork.
I loved how, I mean, this is sorry to spoil it, but like in the end, what she was brought there for, they discuss, but it didn't end up being like this happened and they lived happily ever after. It's I just want to spend time with it just being you and me.
Yes.
Like, oh God, me too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I think like that I loved reading that more in the end than reading like this epilogue that's like 5 years from now. Like they have cute little dragon human babies. Like I that was so much better.
Yeah. And the like most badass part is when Azazel's like, take your Hellcat and get out. And I'm like, she's a Hellcat now. Like she's got her power back. Like, way to go, Briar.
It's really great. And then also when she's like, I want to rule with you. I want to be your full-on partner. And she has her reservations because she's like, I am a full-on human. Which is kind of weird when you're like a dragon and then all of a sudden you're, you know, queen is a human. Understand it, but she it's really interesting to watch her care about this society and this world in addition to Soul.
Yeah, I think it's like when you read time travel novels, it's like, okay, so somebody's either going to stay in the past or future where it is or whatever, or you're going to go back and there's going to be no point of the romance. This isn't going to work. So it's like in her case, I think she gets to a point where she's like, I can't live without this person. Like, I'm not worried about the 7 years. Like, I want to stay if I can stay. And yeah, like the whole pregnancy part of it and all of that, it's just really making sure we're on the same page that like, when I'm ready, that's what we'll do. But like, I'm staying, you know, that's like the only option for me. Otherwise it's not going to happen. So I just liked how all of that was done.
Yeah. The way he like acquiesces. And I don't want to say like acquiesce, like it really is such a partnership of like, I will respect you like, and but at the same time, like here she is giving him something by learning the language, getting the you know, translation spells or something, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I loved that. I was like, look at Briar. You got to give a little. Okay. You got to give a little.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think it really points, and I think that points out her strength in a bit of like, she isn't she isn't like, oh, I'm going to learn your language and read your books because I'm held captive here. She's like, I'm your wife, I'm your partner. This is how I'm going to like, this is my contribution to like our teamwork. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was wondering, I was like, did she do any type of dragon research or for this book, or is with monster romance, is it just making them your own? And I feel like, I mean, obviously they're talking and sleeping with humans. So I'm obviously you're making them your own, but like how much of like actual dragon mythology kind of went into it, or is it just safer to like 100% make them kind of your own thing?
Yeah, it's interesting because it just now it made me think of like Stephanie Meyer and Twilight, how she made vampires her own thing, and people were like, "Whoa, that's not vampires." But with this, are there like dragon enthusiasts who are like, "No, whoa, that's not this,"
right? Because I was like, "Well, he's not breathing out fire." You know, but does he need to? No, it's Katee Roberts, so she can make him do whatever she wants. So
exactly, yeah, she's very clever in that way. Like I think like one of her strengths really is world building and but not caring about like having to like justify it with past pop culture.
Yes, I mean, he has 2 penises and he's sleeping with a human. We're gonna just say she can do whatever she wants to do because
Absolutely. And like the way, like you could tell that like she really thinks about the science behind it, not like, or like the logistics. Like when she talks about him going down on her, obviously he's a dragon. He has like a more snout like mouth. And it's like, yeah, there are little bite marks here because his mouth would reach her navel.
Yeah. Oh gosh, those scenes were so hot.
I know.
Yeah, she can write a hot scene, that Katee Robert, I will say.
Yeah, I mean, the sex with the double dicks, like the way that they do it, you know, like first of all, there's a lot more variety.
I don't like talk about this book seriously.
Yeah. But there's like way more, like she did a good job of like opening herself up to like more creative ways to have sex.
I mean, you got to when there's like 2 of them there, like, okay, I'm going to try to slide down on this one, though I know I probably can't take all of it. And then there's this other one. Like there's a lot of things spilling out. Okay.
Oh yeah. There's like, I mean, obviously twice as much fluids. But like the way that I was like, oh yeah, she could bounce back and forth on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because like, you know, you would think like, okay, maybe tonight it's this dick and then the other night it's this dick. But it's like, no, of course, like, yeah, there's no rules in this world. Like go back and forth.
Just go back and forth. Have at it, Briar.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. And I love that like there's a balm for soreness. Like Katee Robert thought of all the things. Okay. If you're having sex with 2 dicks on one man who's a dragon, there's going to be some soreness. There's going to be some soreness. And she thought of everything. How do we combat this? Well, there has to be a balm.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So he gets it for her and he puts it in her too, which is very, again, doting.
Yes. And she says at one point he got creative with the bomb last night, and it just lets you think like, well, what did he do with said bomb? I don't know. Yeah, I think Soul is the 2022 romance hero of the year.
He's a book boyfriend. Like I feel like for me, it's very hard for a guy to achieve that of like, oh, okay, you're like going above and beyond being so loving, but like he goes way above and beyond a lot of the heroes that are human that I've read recently.
Yeah. Be nice to the not so hot guy in class, ladies. You never know. He may be a soul.
He may be. I mean, I think that's a really good lesson. Like # not all monsters.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe.
So are you going to read like the next one when it comes out? What is it called? It's the Kraken one.
Yeah. So what's
Kraken
fun?
Sacrifice.
Yeah. What's fun about this series is that it's not all dragons, it's all different monsters. So one is a Kraken. I think the next one might be a
A gargoyle.
A gargoyle.
I, for one,
yeah.
am not mad about seeing gargoyles coming
Oh,
back.
me neither. Yeah. Like it's interesting. Like I'm very curious about what gargoyle lore is because like my only understanding is that Disney movie where it's like they are stones, but then can come to life.
Yeah, I actually restarted watching. Do you remember Disney used to have this cartoon called The Gargoyles?
Yeah.
I started rewatching it and I was
Mhm.
like, okay, I hope this is kind of different when we get these books. But
Oh my God. Yeah. But I like how you're preparing yourself for like, I'm going to watch this kid show.
Because I like really know nothing about them. I feel like that's one creature that like nobody's really done. I know that there are some now. What's her name? I think Lillian Graves has one that I've downloaded. So it's cool to see them, but I'm like, I have nothing when it comes to gargoyles. Know nothing about them. So let's do some, academic research by watching a Disney cartoon.
Exactly. Like when I read her other book, Neon Gods, I watched the Hercules thing to just catch up on my mythology. Right. And honestly, it really did help. Like it helped me remember.
Okay. I love that episode, by the way.
So good. That book did you read that book?
I have not read it yet.
I think you'd really like it. It is wild. Again, like this book, you have a lot of questions, but do they matter? Absolutely not.
Okay. Good to know. Yeah, I love that she has done like the Greek myth retellings. I'm personally more of like an Egyptian mythology person, but we don't really see that in romance at all. I don't know why.
We should. That's interesting
though. But I think that like after I get through these, I may go and do, because she has like a whole fairy tale retelling series that everyone raved about. So I'm like, I just think that she's onto something. She's really tapped into something that like readers are craving, and she seems to do really well at it. So
yeah, there's something very like, because like one of her books, and I have it and I haven't read it yet, but it's an Aladdin retelling, but it's Jasmine and Jafar. So it's like a lot of these retellings are when they're with the villain, and it's like Jafar, he can get it. Like there is something like
that voice.
There is like the power, like the thing that he holds, like there is this like questioning that she does so well of like what makes a monster, and like what makes something like how far can we go when it comes to taboo, and is it okay to go taboo but still feel safe? It's so fascinating what she does.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel like this one was a little taboo or no?
I think at first it was like, honestly, for me, like, and this is so weird, but the fact that he had a snout and not a human, because usually with these things, it's like they have a human mouth. And so it's fine. Like, you don't need to worry about like getting your tongue bit off if you're kissing him. This, she was like, no, this guy has a dragon face. And that was like, for some reason, I guess based on my prejudices, felt a little taboo. But then I was on board.
But then we were into it. Yeah. Same.
What did you think? Where you were like, oh my God, is this taboo? Or were you like, I'm sold?
I was assuming it would feel taboo just because there's so much out there that I think gets lumped into taboo. But then when you actually read it, you're like, oh no. So that was for me. At first I was like, this is going to be something taboo, which I love taboo. So I was like, okay, whatever. But then I really got into it and I was like, okay, she's doing so much more with this. So
yeah, she really is like, don't worry, reader, I'm going to hold your hand through all of this.
All of it.
I felt safe with her.
I did.
Yeah. What is something taboo, like that is full on taboo for you? Like where you're like, I'm going into something crazy.
I don't know. See, because I feel like I haven't really read anything taboo in a while. And if I have, I don't always necessarily know if I'm reading something taboo.
I get that 100%. Yeah.
Like I love erotica, but I don't really think of that as like any of that as being taboo. I mean, I guess like when I think of taboo, I think of like those Jessica Kane novellas, which I used to just, oh God, eat like candy. They were so addicting. And I have not read one in probably like 2 years at this point. But I think of stuff like that, like, oh my God, like I'm sleeping with all of my dad's farm hands and he has no idea, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
I don't know. What about you? What do you think?
It's interesting because I feel like taboo, like honestly, because of what I've done on this episode, when I did remember when dinosaur erotica was I did a dinosaur erotica, and that to me felt the most taboo because it was bordering on bestiality, but like, is it? Because dinosaurs don't exist anymore. Like,
so were you reading those like Kindle dinosaur? I never got to read them.
She's out with more. She just came. I'm on her newsletter, and she just is like, I think she's just like knows there's a demand for it.
Now would be the time. I love dinosaurs, and I mean, if we're doing monsters, bring on the T-Rex sex, okay?
Oh yeah, and that one's fascinating, by the way. Like how that. Like I was reading it and like I mean I still think about it to this day of just like, yeah, I guess that's how it would work. Like,
especially because they had those like, little arms. Oh God. Yeah.
But what's interesting is that like taboo is so subjective, because like I'll talk to someone and they'll be like, oh, I read this really taboo romance. There was anal in it. And it's like, whoa, it's someone else. That's just like, you know, that's not taboo at all. That's just like very, very like vanilla, you know, and like, yeah.
I used to read these. Her name was Martha Ray. And if anyone listening can tell me where this author went, because I was looking for her recently and like all the books have been taken down off Amazon. And at the time, I do feel like they felt a little taboo. They were all lesbian romances, like lesbian, like 30-page tabooist of the taboo, you know, like in that space. But the thing that felt a little weird was it felt kind of like dude bro-ish. I was like, is this a guy writing as a woman? Which is fine, but it just felt kind of weird. And I don't know, but they were so addicting and I could not put them down. So I was like looking for them recently and I'm like, okay, she's taken everything off of Amazon. So like what happened? But I mean, it was still, I mean, it's obviously it's still humans. It was like female, but it felt, there was something about it that felt taboo because it was always like somebody sleeping with their brother's wife when he went out to work or something like that. And I was like, you know, it was like addicting, but I guess those would be like the closest to like super taboo that I've really gotten.
Yeah. Cause I feel like there's like personal taboo and then there's like ridiculous taboo is like sex with dinosaurs, but personally taboo is having sex with like your sister-in-law or something, you know, like, and it's like, that is like, to some people that's like insanely taboo, but there's, you know, I just watched the VC Andrews new Flowers in the Attic and it's like, that's not taboo at all. That's just like the smallest plot point in the history of books.
You've been watching it on Lifetime?
Yeah, I didn't watch the second episode yet, but I think the second episode.
Okay, so it's a series. It's a series.
It's a mini series. Yeah.
Okay.
And
every time I like go on Friendly, I can see it, and I'm like, I want to watch this, but I never read the books.
Oh, you don't have to read them. I like, if you know the story or like I've seen the movies, you know, you'll know this. It is, first of all, it's like the first episode, you're like, where can they go from here? And literally the last like voiceover is like, literally that the protagonist is like, strap in folks, because it goes wild from here. And it's like, great. Don't say no more.
I feel like Lifetime is like really stepping up their game.
And I feel like when they do the VC Andrews, like they completely, whether they're doing it purposely or not, they completely get it. The dialogue is so ridiculous. The acting is so ridiculous. And whether or not these actors are like, whatever, but just like their level of commitment to just selling these ridiculous pieces of dialogue and these ridiculous stories, like it really is some of the best acting on television.
I love it. Okay, now I have to watch it.
I think you'll be okay without like, you know, without without knowing, because it is an origin story. So it's like, you don't really need, like, I don't know, maybe there's some people who are like, ooh, an Easter egg, but like, I don't think it's going to take
All I know
away.
about that whole story is like supposedly a brother and sister having sex in the attic because they've been like locked up. And I'm like, that's the only plot point that anybody ever gives me. And I'm like, isn't it a big book? I'm assuming there was more that happened.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, it's a whole, like, the brother and sister having sex with each other is maybe a C plot line. Like, it's like, the whole thing is that, like, the kids are in the attic and they're being poisoned slowly. And it's like, like, that's the main plot line. But then all you remember is, oh, brother and sister. The brother and sister thing does end up becoming a bigger thing as, the series continues. But like the first one is just like, okay, like you're like waiting for the brother sister thing, and then it comes up, and then you're like, wait, keep going on that, and then it's done.
Okay. So do you think that at any point we will get monster romance on television?
Oh, wouldn't that be insane? I mean, where are we gonna go? I was gonna ask you, would we ever get monster romance where the female character is the monster?
I thought that too. I don't know. That is a really interesting question. I feel like right now it's just so, I feel like what romance readers want is it to be the hero.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really do think romance writers do a really good job of like 20 years from now, if somebody's studying the genre, they'll know kind of where we were as a society based off of these novels. They're like, oh, these bitches were loving monsters because the world was shit. So I don't know. I have thought the same thing. I think a heroine monster would be really fun. But then there's just that comes, I look at it like this really felt like taking what we love out of typical fairy tales and really keeping it very much the same, just changing the face of who the happy ever after is, it ends up being.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, most of the time in the fairy tales, it's the Prince Charming that comes in and saves the day. So I don't want to say that there's like not space for it to be the heroine, because I definitely think there is, but just right now, culturally, I feel like everybody's craving is it being the hero.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think like at the end of the day, like romance itself is like a lot of people gravitate towards it because they can put themselves in the heroine's shoes or the hero's shoes, depending on, like the type of book, so there's always one human, one monster, and the human typically in these books represents you, the reader.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I guess it's hard to like kind of picture like, oh, I'm going to read this book about like a dragon humanoid and be like, oh yeah, that's me. That's me.
Yeah. Right. And I'm like, I'm the most boring person ever. How would I ever get to be a cool dragon? I don't know. I don't know.
Like, it's like, I guess if there's someone who lives in this world where like they live in a utopia, everything's perfect, they don't have the same pressures that the rest of human beings have. I doubt that exists, but maybe. And so maybe when they read it, they're like, yeah, I'm related more to the dragon, but who are those people and how do I find them and live their lives?
Yeah. Even like with Ramanu, who's non-binary, I was like, how could we have done this with Ramanu being the I don't know, the love interest. I mean, it could have totally been done. And I think that would have been really interesting to see. So yeah, I think the thing about monsters is it's open game. Do whatever you want with it. And I think it's going to absolutely work. But there's just something about us reading it as women where it's like, you want to feel that the monster is coming and rescuing you.
Yeah. It's like being scared and being turned on are synonymous with each other, Yeah.
That's why I've always wondered why we don't see more horror and romance, which I feel like books like this kind of sort of compensate for that. But like, I would like more horror and romance if an author was able to pull it off. And I feel like there are authors that could do it.
So like, I mean, what would be great is because I was like thinking about like before this, I was like searching books that to compare this to in terms of like looking at the what human condition, and all of a sudden like Frankenstein popped up.
Mhm.
And like there is something like very similar between these two books of like, exploring like wanting to explore more about what it means to be human. And like I could see there has to be a romance with Frankenstein, right? Like
There is
there
one
is.
coming out by Sally Thorne.
Oh my God. Well, there we go. I got to cover that one, or at
But
least
I
read
mean,
it.
yeah, I don't know how Frankensteinish it is, but I do think it's like the heroine building her own hero or something like that. So
There,
yeah.
and again, that what does that say about like that says so much about
Yeah.
society. Yeah.
Which is, I'm interested to see how it turns out because I'm like, technically, Frankenstein was the doctor. Wasn't the
Oh yeah,
monster.
Frankenstein's monster. Yeah, I keep forgetting that. I'm so sorry to the Frankenstein monsters out there.
I know.
Use their name, but
Don't come for us, okay? We know. We
yeah,
know.
like in the book, isn't he referred to as it? I don't even remember that
Yeah,
book,
I
but
don't even
like,
know. Yeah.
yeah,
I
it
love
is.
the movie, and
Yeah.
I just, I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta remember that Frankenstein's the doctor, not the
Mhm.
monster.
Yeah, but it's
I
hard
mean,
not
give
to.
us a Wolfman.
Yeah,
I love that.
or even like an invisible man. Like I think
Oh
like
my
there's something to be said about
gosh.
that too.
Just like knowing his presence is there, but like you can't
Yeah.
see him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
And
God.
yeah, there's like something very like horny about that of like there could be someone in the room, but I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll just start masturbating and see
I
what
know. And I mean, in the old
happens.
black and white movie, he's kind of a trickster.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And he does have like a hot voice. Like, I mean, it's so creepy, but it's also like, when you hear him talk like that, like,
yes. Oh my gosh. Love it. I love it.
okay, so I'm going to ask you for a rating in this book. So as we talked about, there is a healing balm being used so they can have sex and her not to feel in pain. So I'm going to ask you how many jars of healing balms. 5 out of 5 healing balms. Great book. 1 out of 5, obviously. It wasn't your favorite. How do you rate it?
I gave this 4 healing balms.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I honestly think that I could have read like another 100 pages of this.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that she kept it short. I think that's the only reason it's not a 5 out of 5 star. I want to know like why. I think it's great the way that it is, but it is one of those books where I think you could have expanded on certain things a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of it was like, here's a really short book. I'm going to tell you the rules of this world. Really adds nothing else to any sort of like B plot. Then we get to the love part, and it's like it either could have been shorter or longer.
Yeah. What about you? What'd you give it?
Okay. That said, I despite my like kind of maybe more critical aspects of like how the plot was or whatever, I give it 5 out of 5 stars because I really think that this book is like the Kafka metamorphosis of romance. It really does explore. There really is something just so fascinating about it. Like, I honestly think it's a must read for women or actually anyone of any gender today of like how we are viewing love and happiness. I think honestly, it's one of the most important reads.
Oh my gosh. And I was so nervous, like Becky's not going to like it. But I think that if you have not picked up a monster romance, I think this is the perfect gateway drug into it.
Agreed. Yeah. I think like if you're like if you're scared, which understandably I can see a sense of fear of like, whoa, this is a great way. Like you are having your hand held. You're in a safe space as you read this, and then you kind of you will understand it by the end of like, and then that'll just set you off on an addiction.
I think she gives you things that you just don't really realize that you need, like through Soul's like gentleness and patience. Like I was reading this book and I was like, wow, that stuff is really important to me as a woman, and I think in general. And it's like, wow, these are things that we kind of tend to forget because you're so busy just living life and going with the flow that it's like, wow, when was the last time I had someone that was just really tender and patient with me,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Like, I think there are like, if you are like, oh, I need to read a book, I'll either read How to Win Friends and Influence People or read this book on how to like interact with people. This book, hands down, way better.
Absolutely. Pick it up, guys.
Yeah. You can read Women Are from Venus, Men Are from Mars, or you can read this book and have a better get what you need. Way better than you would from that book. I've never read any of those two books, but I'm assuming.
Along with some really hot sex scenes. So
yeah, exactly.
Can't just pick this one up. And it's shorter than those. It's shorter than those for sure.
Yeah, and way more entertaining and like written by a woman, and it's like
by Katee fucking Robert. Okay.
Yeah. So Katee, if you're listening to this, once again, I'm giving your book a perfect score. Well, Bree, tell us where we can find you and we can find your podcast, etc.
So the podcast is the Categorically Romance Podcast. If you Google us, you'll hopefully find us. I don't know.
Yeah, don't worry.
We're on all the places like Apple and stuff like that. And I'm on Instagram. Instagram, I hate talking about it. I dread it. But I am there, Bree.unabashedly. And I'm on Twitter, but honestly, I don't know my name. I just go on there to like talk about ghost adventures and Hallmark movies and stuff. So
that sounds great. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Don't sell yourself short. That's awesome. Well, Bree, thank you so much for being a guest. This was so much fun.
Thank you for having me. I loved it.
Too Stupid to Live is part of the Frolic Podcast Network. For more podcasts you'll love, visit frolic.media/podcasts. Thank you so much for listening and have a great rest of your day.